Okay, so I'm working on this idea here for table saw blade storage. It's like a little shelf. Okay, just very basic. Holds the blade in place. I'm gonna use some dados. Alright, and that's gonna, shelf's gonna just slide in and out of the dado. You get the idea. Right. So I gotta create a box. There's dados on both sides. Here's my really rough drawing of that. Alright, I'm just measuring it all out. Alright, and just really just trying to be as precise as possible here with my measurements where those dados gotta go. Trying to squeeze in as many blades into a small of a space as possible. Just challenging myself again, just trying to be as precise as possible. So now I gotta use the router table, set up with a 1/2 inch straight bit, set up for that, for those dados. All right, go right through it. We're gonna have to do a bunch of routing now. Let's see how it goes. I'm using all scraps. We got tons of scraps. All right, so if I mess up, it's not a big deal. We'll just start over again, just measure out. All right, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to do the routing here, and these pieces are longer than I need. They're a couple inches longer than I need, and that's useful because now I can just nibble a little out with the router and get my measurements exactly where I need them to be. And I can do this all the way, and that's where I want my first one to be. I want it a little bit to the right of the line. Give myself some room, and then I'm going to go and do the rest of these guys. All right. Okay, so I got all the dados done with the router table, both sides. Okay, you can see how the little drawer fits in. I'm just kind of mocking it up right here. Now, yeah, I'll wait for it to slide. Gotta get it put together. Now I can figure out the pieces that go across. I'm gonna cut this thing down, make it a little smaller. Alright, but it's coming along. Alright, so I'm gonna get 7 in here, squeezing all the space I possibly can out of the slot that I have. Alright, so just to give you an idea, I got 7 blades there. This is my table saw storage now. This one little drawer. This 12-inch doesn't even fit. I don't even own a 12-inch anymore. Just get that out of here. You know, but I got about 5 blades just sitting on top of each other in here, and it's just not good because you can chip the teeth. And it's just not organized. So it's gonna be a big help. Alright, so here we got all the basic pieces of my table saw blade storage box that I'm working on. Alright, here's our little shelf. You might have a different amount of blades. I'm doing 7 here, okay? I'm just doing pocket holes for the tops and bottoms. I was going to do dominoes. I just chose pocket holes to make it a little more accessible for most people. Not everybody has a domino joiner, and I'm going to use the dominoes at a different part for actually doing these little shelves. So I'll show you both techniques. Alright, but these are the pieces, and now I'm going to put this box together and see how it goes. So after I put my box together, glued it up, I took out my square. You want to check the inside here, okay? I was a little bit out, not too bad, but a little bit. So I just put this diagonal clamp on, just gentle squeeze, kind of get into square just until the glue dries. And then it sets up, it'll be fine. But it's kind of important if this thing's racked, you know, one way or the other. The drawers aren't going to slide in real good. It's going to make it real tough. But in case you never saw that trick before, right, squeeze the corners a little bit, recheck it with a square. Gentle squeeze, you shouldn't need too much. Let the glue dry and then you'll be set. Alright, we got our finished saw blade box here with the dados. Box all glued up, dried up, ready to go. Alright, and then we cabinet here. I'm going to put it right in this area right here. I'm just going to hang it. This is the top of the cabinet. The cabinet's tipped over on its side right now. Alright, I got some shims there just to help me align it as I screw it in. Alright, and then I'm just going to screw this and attach it to the cabinet now. Alright, so I want to work on these little platters or these little shelves that hold the table saw blades. Alright, and I saw a lot of stuff online, very similar, and they just cut a circle out, like MDF. They cut the circle out, sandwiched it together, or just routed it out, which is really cool and all, but I wanted to do something quicker, use up some scraps, and I just thought cutting these triangles was plenty good enough. Alright, so that's what I'm going to go do. Alright, I got all these I'm going to set up here. If you see, I got these marks drawn on the piece of wood here where the triangles need to go. And then I put that mark also on all these pieces. Alright, using one of these marking tools. These are really old school marking tools. Alright, you basically put it right on the edge. Ride the edge of your piece of wood there, and this marking tool basically puts a groove right in there. It's just as good as a pencil mark usually. So, using the marking tool, I marked all my pieces out. Now I just gotta cut the strips that I need. I'm going over the miter saw over here. Alright, I got my strips. I'm gonna get these guys cut up, alright? Got all our pieces ready to go. Alright, so got all my pieces, got some glue, and I got a pin nailer, very tiny pins, 23 gauge. It's just going to hold these in place while the glue dries. I'm just going to put these right on my marks here, markings that I made, 4 corners, and it's going to hold the blade in pretty good. Alright. Alright, so we're just going to do the finger hole here for the saw blade. 1-inch Forstner bit. Seems to be plenty to get that in there. Alright, so still working on these little drawers, these little trays for the saw blades. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to use dominoes to hold these front drawer faces in. Basically going to go like this. Right, that'll be our drawer face. Nice and aligned on the bottom. That's why I'm going to do it. You could probably do this with pocket holes here too. 1/2-inch pocket holes require changing the jig around a little bit, using the right kind of screws, but you can do this with pocket holes. I'm just going to do this one with dominoes. For me, it's going to be easier. Alright, so here's the idea I'm playing around with. Kind of rough, but it's just a domino stuck in the drawer face. I'll put that in the drawer face. That's why I'm just going to pull it out. Alright, nice and easy. I don't want to overthink this too much, so I got my center mark there. Just going to pop a domino in. Alright, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what it looks like. That's pretty good. I don't know, I might go a little shorter. I don't like it sticking out this much. That's going to be the idea. Pull the drawer in and out. That works pretty good. All right. All right, so we're gluing these up, these little trays for the table saw blades. Here's a finished one. We did a little domino pull here. Nothing really groundbreaking here, but I'm just going to show you the glue up of the piece and how I'm setting these up. All right. So what I like to use is just a pipe cleaner, cut in half, and then I twist them. All right, and these work really good for the mortises for the domino and for spreading glue. You can twist it a little bit. Put some on there. In the hole. So this is what we're looking at. All right, got my pieces so far, most of them glued up. I get a little wood filler in there, a little bit of those sides up. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. You can see the marks from the clamps. I hate that, but just a little sanding will take that out. So this guy's shaping up good. Next thing we should just be doing is sanding and doing the black poly on it, and we'll be all set. All right, so here we are. Finished the saw blade organizer, saw blade holder. All right, I mounted it in a cabinet. It could be freestanding if you want. All right. Got the finish on it. It's all black. It's the same as everything else. I use this Minwax poly shade, which is one step stain and poly for just black, classic black. Works pretty good. Alright, so each little tray comes out completely. Alright, what I did here was I just rounded off the edges with a sander. Alright, just to round off those edges, makes everything work a little bit smoother. I chamfered these edges a little bit with the sander. And then what I used is I put some paste wax on these runners here, make it work a little smoother. It goes in and out. It just slides nice and easy. Right. You just get some paste wax right here on both sides. Right, round it off those corners. A little bit of a chamfer. All right, and paste wax. Typical stuff to have around. All right, makes this work nice and smooth. All right, so there we go. All finished up. And take a look around back. There we are around back. All right. It's just screwed. The box is just screwed right into the cabinet. All right. So, hope this video was useful for you guys. You know, everybody's situation will be different. You can make less spaces. Mount 2 cabinets in one, or have a freestanding one. I'll leave some dimensions or SketchUp drawing at the end of this video. Check out what dimensions I did, and then you can modify to do whatever you need it to do. It can be very customizable. Alright? You guys take it easy, stay safe, and we'll get you on the next video. Alright, here's a quick SketchUp drawing of the box that I did in the video. Like I said, your needs might change. You might have a different setup, but this just gives you a basic overview of what I did to make my box. Orbit around here a little bit.